I want you to picture a walk you've done 100 times. Not far, quiet, familiar. This account comes from a woman who worked nights at a pub in a small town. The kind of town where everything closes early. The kind of place where walking home usually feels safe. That night was New Year's Eve. She finished her shift late, later than normal, just after 2 in the morning. Her boss offered to drive her home. Her boyfriend offered to walk with her. She said no. It was less than 10 minutes. She'd done it plenty of times before, so she started walking. She liked the quiet. No headphones, just the sound of her footsteps. When she passed the small shop near the edge of town, she noticed the man sitting at the bus shelter next to it. It was almost 3 a.m. No buses were running. No one else was around. She recognized him. She had served him earlier that night at the pub. As she got closer, she noticed he was sniffing something from his keys. She didn't know what it was. He didn't seem aggressive, just wrong. As she walked past, he looked up and said, "Sorry, darling, do you have a lighter I can borrow?" She was smoking, so she stopped. Most people would. He moved closer as she reached into her bag, close enough that she felt herself freeze. He asked for a cigarette next. She told him it was her last one. She just wanted to leave. She started to walk away. That's when he told her to stop. Not asked, told. And she did. That moment stayed with her. The way his tone changed, the way he looked her up and down. Then he said something she still can't forget. He told her that he had been walking around all night looking to hurt someone, and that she shouldn't be out there alone. Her legs then went weak. She lied. She told him her boyfriend was waiting just around the corner, that she'd meet him in a minute. She smiled like it was nothing. He smiled back and said he'd walk with her. She kept telling him there was no need. He stayed right behind her anyway, talking, rambling, saying he wouldn't hurt her, saying she didn't understand him, saying she needed him with her. The entire time, she thought he was going to grab her. Her phone was almost dead. She typed the message into the work group chat, just enough for someone to know where she was. She didn't dare call anyone. When they turned onto her street, his behavior changed again. He became more explicit, more personal. She realized he was learning where she lived, so she made a decision. She picked the house with the lights on. She opened the gate and turned to him and said, "This is me. Thanks for walking me home." Then she ran. She tried to unlock the door. The key wouldn't turn. Her phone died. She started pounding on the door. Her dad let her in moments later. The man was gone. She hasn't walked home alone since. Nothing physical happened, but that doesn't mean nothing happened. Some encounters don't leave marks. They leave warnings. This one was never explained, and it never really ended.
I want to start this one by saying something important. Not every bad place feels dangerous. Sometimes it feels familiar. Sometimes it feels like home. This account comes from someone who moved to East Los Angeles just after high school. Her family had lived there before. She knew the area. She trusted it. The plan was simple. Live with her parents, save money, figure out what came next. That summer, she met a guy named Michael at a family party. He had tattoos. He had confidence. He felt exciting. When he asked her out, she said yes. Their date sounded harmless. He told her he knew a place with the best guava nectar in town. They could grab a drink and then catch a movie at a nearby drive-in. It sounded quirky, different, so she agreed. They parked at the drive-in first, paid a small fee, left the car there. The restaurant was about a 20-minute walk away. She questioned it. It was getting late. The movie was starting soon. Michael smiled and reminded her how comfortable she was in that neighborhood, almost like a challenge. And she went along with it. The streets were dark, quiet, too quiet. As they walked, Michael kept stopping, showing her videos on his phone, laughing. At the time, it felt casual. Looking back, she realized he was stalling. Then a car pulled up beside them. A masked man stepped out. At first, she thought it might be a prank, something for social media. Then he spoke. He said he needed her phone and her wallet. His voice sounded young, nervous, like this wasn't something he'd done before. She remembers noticing that. The man hesitated. From the car, someone yelled, "Hurry up, man." The masked man shouted back, "I'm hurrying. She's right here." And in the moment she knew. Michael looked at the masked man. The masked man looked at Michael. They knew each other. The man took her things and ran back to the car. They drove away. Michael didn't chase them, didn't shout. He just stood there. She was in shock. She told Michael they needed to go to the police. He said they should still get guava nectar first to calm her down. She had just been robbed, and he was offering her juice. She didn't have her phone, no way to call anyone, so they walked. They got the drink. They walked back to the car. When they reached it, she insisted again. "Police, now." This time, she said if he refused, she asked someone else in the parking lot for help. He finally agreed. At the police station, things got worse. She described the car as gray. Michael said it was white. She said there was a driver who yelled. Michael said there was no driver, that the masked man got back into the car and drove off alone. Every detail didn't match. The officer noticed. Their patience faded. Eventually, one of them said they couldn't investigate further if the two witnesses couldn't agree on what happened. She knew then nothing would come of this. Michael drove her home. Her parents were furious. Her mother told her never to speak to him again. She didn't. Thankfully, she didn't lose much. Wallets can be replaced. Phones can be replaced. But 8 years later, she still lives in East LA. And she has never had another experience like that. The more time passed, the clearer it became. Michael had stalled on purpose. He stayed calm. He changed details. This wasn't an accident. This was planned. Since then, she's seen him a few times. He always wants to talk. Always wants to invite her somewhere. She always says no. Some encounters don't end with violence. They end with clarity. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where nothing technically goes wrong, but every instinct in your body is telling you something is? This account comes from a woman who ordered a rideshare to get home, a drive she'd done many times before. 30 to 45 minutes, multiple safe, well-traveled routes. The driver was older, friendly, talkative at first. They made small talk, work, holidays, normal things. After about 10 minutes, she put her headphones in, and that's when she noticed something was off. The route felt wrong. She checked the map. They were already off course. At first, she told herself it was fine. There were rural stretches between towns. That wasn't unusual. But then the road narrowed. No other cars. A few scattered houses, fields, horses, no people. The driver wasn't speaking anymore. She took her headphones out. She watched the map as the road ahead turned into a dead end. She felt a wave of relief. He'll turn around, she thought. Instead, he turned right onto what looked like a driveway, a dirt path. She asked him why they were going this way. He said the GPS routed him here. She told him she didn't like it, asked him to go back to the main road. He said the main road was just up ahead and kept driving. The dirt path narrowed further, trees on both sides, no street signs, no lights. She realized this wasn't a driveway. It was a trail, an ATV path through the woods. She was gripping the door handle now, phone in her hand, ready to call someone. The driver said nothing, didn't look back, didn't explain, just kept driving. She remembers thinking how confident he looked, like someone who had driven this path before, like someone who knew exactly where he was. After what felt like forever, the trail opened up. They reached a paved road, other cars, street lights. She finally felt like she could breathe again. That's when he laughed. He said he was surprised the GPS had taken him that way. Joked that it must have been a private road. Said they should fix that. She didn't believe him, 'cause the road didn't exist on her map. And you don't turn into something like that by accident. She spent the rest of the ride with her hand on the door handle, counting the minutes, watching every turn, hoping the explanation was just a bad shortcut, hoping she was wrong. To this day, she doesn't know his intentions. She only knows this: some roads don't appear on maps. And sometimes the scariest part isn't what happens. It's realizing how easily something could have.